Hi, I'm Alan Moos, and I'm the pastor of Oasis International Church in Macau, and that's in China. We've been here about 4 years, and our church serves the local expat community and the English speakers, and more, we serve the residents of Macau who have been learning English and want to do fellowship in English. Macau is a very high pressure, high stress, and materialistic society. It's the gambling capital of Asia. But there's also a lot of pressure on the university students and even high school and grade school students here. Macau has a very high suicide rate, and the emotional health services are not well developed here. There are options available, but it's a huge need in the society that we live in. And we began to pray several years ago for a way for our church to address these emotional health needs, to serve our community in this way. And we don't have doctors or trained counselors in our church. So we don't have a lot of resources. And when we looked for something we could do, Anchor International's peer group kind of model really appealed to us. And so we went through the training. We began our first group about 7, 8 months ago. It was amazing. It was both easy to get started in terms of inviting people. Often we would invite someone and then they would mention somebody else. Oh, I have this friend, or I know of another person that might be interested. And so our first group was about half church members and half non-church members, and it was about half Christian and half non-Christian. And the power of getting together and then talking about emotional health. It was amazing to see the connections that were quickly made. After about 4 or 5 weeks, people in that group were sharing things that they had never shared with anyone else. And we saw hope, and we saw change, and we were able to share the gospel with several in that group, with everyone in that group. Several began to respond. We had a person that came to the group just because they had a family member that they were concerned about, and they wanted to know how to help. And that person added a lot to the group as well, and we learned from each other. We finished that first group and had a person from that group who said, "I'd like to maybe lead the next group." So we are now in starting our second group. We've been meeting several weeks. We have a co-leader who will eventually lead his own groups. And this second group, again, we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing people come from the community, not just from the church. In fact, most of the people in our new group are not church members, although a lot of them were connected somehow to people in the church. We are just getting to know each other, but we already had someone who's not a Christian who began to ask spiritual questions, and so we were able to share the gospel with her. So there's a real spiritual aspect to this, and we tell people from the very beginning that this is not group counseling, that we are not professional counselors, that this is meant to be a peer group where we get together and we share, we talk about emotional health issues from a biblical perspective. And we make it very clear that we're Christians, but you don't have to be a Christian to be part of the group. And we have had a great experience. We're already starting to kind of set up feelers and look at inviting people for a third group to start sometime in the next couple of months, even while this second group is still going. And I've talked with other pastors about this as well, and there's a lot of interest in from other churches, both here in Macau and in Asia, for doing this Overcome program. So that's what's going on in Macau. We see a great future in just growing leaders for the Overcome program. And as we have more overcome classes that finish, we are keeping in touch with everyone that's been in those groups, and we hope to bring them together to do further study with them or start new groups with kind of alum to go deeper into emotional health issues. And there's been a lot of interest in that. So thank you to Anchor International for putting this together and for seeking to serve this really underserved group in our societies and our cultures all over the world. Thank you.